I really appreciated our conversation last time around because we're in a moment right now where we are trying to really make sure that our community is not left behind when it comes to cannabis, when it comes to our ability to not just benefit from the properties of the plant, which we're learning more and more about every single day, but also benefit from the properties in the industry. And you are
Yes, ma'am.
someone. You are someone who has your finger on the pulse of this. So, talk to us about, for those who are meeting you for the first time on the show, perhaps they missed our first conversation. Talk to us about Cannabis Noir and where you have been. And then I want to talk about where you're going.
Oh yeah, like thank you so much. I really enjoyed speaking to you last time. And it just brought up a lot of different things and was a great reminder as to why I really am doing this work.
Mm.
But yeah, so Cannabis Noir was bred out of necessity. They say necessity breeds invention.
Yes.
I attended a conference. Then the space was dedicated to cannabis in my city and all of the legalization things that were on the horizon. This was 2000, and I believe 18, and I remember thinking to myself, walking into that building, one, how did I not know about this? How did
Mm.
I, somebody who's so well connected, who knows all of the things that are happening within our city, just from being so civically engaged.
Yeah.
Um, it was surprising that someone who actually is kind of within the cannabis community at some level had no idea what was happening.
Mm.
And then on top of that, and clearly it had been marketed robustly because it was jam packed full of people. It just was not marketed to us
Oh,
um,
that part.
because we were not in the building. We were not a part of that robust crowd. And it was very
Question
evident
for you
that.
on that point, because we've been talking a lot about intentionally signaling who you're attracting or who you desire to be in your market in a variety of
Mhm.
ways. But how did you know it was marketed to another group and not to you?
Well, because one, I did not know about it, and I would have saw something, right? It would have crossed my pathway at some level, right? Two, the messaging was not built to resonate with people in my community. It
Mm.
was very ambiguous and it was very built around business, politics, legislation, marketing, um, infrastructure, a lot of conversations that would go over the head of people who don't understand this industry or this space and not knowing what these words mean yet. We're just looking for like cannabis, like weed, conference, taste test, like
Push,
all
right?
we're
Edibles, right?
edibles.
Right.
We're looking for the things that are familiar with us, and then also I looked at who was sponsoring and
Mm.
who was paying for that and those people to be there, right?
Right.
And it was a lot of lawyers, a lot of labs, a lot of um, really big equity firms, all of which do not have a community of color within their company culture, right? And then also don't have a means of making sure that they are directly engaging and aligning with said communities, right? And so with that, it was very easy to come to the conclusion that this was not only not for us, but purposely not for us.
Right.
And even more than the amount of black and brown people I didn't see women of any color
Mm.
in the numbers that I saw the men. And so from there it was like, oh wow, so this is something that one, they're trying to keep from us. So I'm going to go tell everybody.
Mhm.
And two, this is something that is clearly creating economic value because it's brought people from all over the tri-state. We have people from Jersey, from New York, from Delaware, from all over having conversations about what the cannabis landscape will look like in Pennsylvania over the next couple of years as it begins to roll out. And none of the people who deserve to be in that room from all of the work that was put into the gray market and the black market of cannabis was invited or asked to be a part of that. And
Mm.
if they were, it was a very marginalized, very, um, you know, off in a corner kind of, I didn't even know you were there kind of thing. And so from there, it was like, I have to go tell people what's happening because I feel like they're doing this intentionally. And if they are working this hard to keep it from us, then it must be some value underneath of this. Not to mention, I have relatives right now who are actively facing criminal charges, who are dealing with the barriers and impact of incarceration, of life thereafter, for cannabis, right? And so how do we reconcile the fact that you're getting ready to make $6 billion in this industry while I still have cousins who are in jail for the very same thing? And so then having those conversations with other community members and then kind of going down a rabbit hole of like, oh, wait, there's this, there's that. And then medicinally, the plant does this, it does that. It was so many different things that I was like stumbling into in terms of education that I wanted to make sure that I wasn't the only person stumbling into this and like fumbling through what this space looked like, what it meant, what it offered, what the resources were, how to navigate it safely. And so I figured, you know, from all of the stumbles and randomness that I experienced, that I could create some kind of strategic pathway for people to access equitable spaces, safe spaces, spaces that make sense, spaces that people will flourish in, that are not convoluted with boys clubs, right? I always say that, you know, the audacity of mediocre white men is unmatched, right? And so even in the idea of going to them and saying, hey, I really would like to be a part of this next year, and kind of figure out what we can do to explore like collaborations, opportunities for me to bring my, you know, like my community and the people that I know here. And it was met with very much hesitation and kind of like disregard. And it was very much, no one saw the value in that at that moment. And now flash forward, you know, we have chapters in 23 states. You know, the education continued to grow, the opportunities continue to grow, our ways of being able to access resources and share them with people. Because quite frankly, I could not do this all by myself. There was no way for me to take advantage of all the things I was discovering and learning. And so it made sense to share it with people and allow them to do the same specifically where they were. And you know, now we're at a space where those same people are like, hey, you know, we'd love to be able to talk to your audience. We'd love to be able to, you know, collaborate and work with you. But I'm so grateful for being able to create the space that when I did, because now we're seeing sort of like this influx of people of color and Black and brown folks kind of getting into this space. And now there's somewhat of a game plan. There's a little bit of a rule book now. We kind of know, while this is an ever-changing market and it's very much the wild, wild west out here, it is, we have some kind of community, we have some kind of system and some kind of footing that we can kind of navigate how to safely and effectively be a part of this space without losing our head in our shirt.
That's the part that I like. How do we? Where's the, for those of us who are Keisha and Kahim come latelys? How do we make sure that we are tapping into the knowledge that folks like you have, so that we're able to move forward? And that's one of the reasons why I love it when I consider you and folks like Dashida Dawson. I consider y'all like the pioneers, right? The people who are out. You're scouting the land. You come in, because what you said was literally very much in line with our theme for today, which is how do we do for self. But you said you found out about it. He's like, I'm telling everybody, because I know y'all didn't want us in here in the first place. That's what I'm talking about. Like, how do we go in? Because you had access, you had the privilege, quote unquote, of being in that space, and now you're bringing the information home where all of us need it. So what is next? What are some of the big things that you have on the horizon that you think we need to be aware of, so that people can not only support the work that you're doing, but also benefit from what this industry has to offer? Because I've been talking about flower. I've been having this segment since the show started. I ain't fully invested in this industry yet. And I'm like, how? I talk to all the experts every week. I'm talking to a different expert. What am I doing? And then I don't know what I'm doing, Sheena. So what should we be doing for those of us who are thinking about following your footsteps?
So what I would say is, and I'm going to make sure we talk separately so I can help you navigate that personally. But but what's dope about this space is that it is very new. It's one of the only industries you can kind of catch right now outside of the tech space of things being built from the ground up, and it's in a sense that you can sort of have your footing in the door at a very early conception stage, right? And I think what we want to do as people who want to access, as people who want to be a part of the space, as people who want to invest in the space, I think the best thing to do is understand your why, which is what I tell everybody. Know your why, right? Because if you know your why, anything that happens around it is just a matter of you sort of changing the trajectory, pivoting where you're going or how you're going, but your destination doesn't change, right? Your mode of transportation might be different, but the end result is always going to be the same because that's your why, that's your goal. Having an understanding of what you want to accomplish when you get into the space or while you're in the space is paramount because again, there's so many different things to do that you can very easily get sidetracked. You can very easily become discouraged, overwhelmed. And I think knowing why you want to be a part of this space in a real way, and then using that as a way to organically create a space for yourself will give you more confidence and more control over how you navigate it, right? Because also what happens is if you say, oh, you know what, I am I am interested in being in the cannabis space and now I'm going to start making edibles. I'm going to make edibles and I'm going to sell them and I'm going to start my own brand. And I was actually at a panel. I think I might have mentioned this last time. And this woman, she was just like, the cookies that I'm doing it. My family likes them. I'm like, great. She stopped me after this panel conversation and she's all pumped up. I go, well, what do you do for a living? She goes, oh, I'm the
Oh no, we just lost her voice. Wait, Sheena, you froze. Damn it. The devil is a liar. He's trying to stop us from being great. But I think what she was going to say was the person in the story, because I remember the story vaguely.
right.
Oh, wait, hold on, Sheena. Everything you said after what she does, you asked her, she said the family loves it, and then the devil came in and was like, stop talking. So you froze. But she said, and I know you have a limited amount of time, so I want to get to that point real quickly. So she said, I'm making these edibles, my family loves them. And then you said, what?
And I said, well, what do you do for a living? And she goes, oh, I'm the third highest rated CPA in Georgia. And I go, well, baby, we need cannabis accountants more than we need more cookies. I would much rather have somebody who looks like me helping count my coins than these people I have never met before that I don't know, that I know this space and will take advantage of me, right? And so now my goal is like to help people understand that knowing your why, right, will also help you stay as organic and aligned to what's comfortable and what's natural to you as possible. So now, for instance, Angela Mays, amazing woman. She did my conference both years. She's a public cannabis accountant. She's called a dope accountant. And her job is literally just to manage cannabis finances. I'm sure the story she could tell you would make your hair pop, right? About all of the things that happen in this space that if it wasn't someone like her there, would have went terribly different, right? And so I think when we think about the cannabis space, everything that we need in every other industry is also necessary for the cannabis space. And applying your natural gifts to that will help you and help the industry overall flourish, right? Because we need unique, creative interjections into this space to continue to make it do what it do, right? And we are paramount for those unique experience and creations, which is why, I created the Higher Conference, Cannabis Conference for Women of Color. We hosted our first one a year ago. Last year was our second event, and it was phenomenal. They were both 2-day in-person and virtual events that put so many of the most amazing Black and Brown women in cannabis from all over the country in the same room to discuss real issues, things that were impacting us, barriers we needed removed, and how we were strategically going to work together to do those. And from that, so many different things have been born. And I'm so excited and so grateful that now we're going to actually take Higher on the road. So as we lead up to our conference in June 2025, we'll be visiting a bunch of different states and a bunch of different peoples, pulling up to let folks know what Higher does, what we're about, how we can help, and figure out how we can be a resource to women right there where they are. So yes, I'm definitely going to make sure you're tapped in because I want you to be a part of this experience somehow.
I would love to. When y'all coming to New York City?
Yes,
I know
ma'am.
you in Philly. Come on, sis. We need to make a date. Come on now. Are the tour dates available as yet? Is it still in formation?
We are still
Notes.
finalizing our tour dates, but they will be up at the end of the month. They go live October 30th. So we are super excited.
I
Yes,
love
yes.
this. Take it on the road. Cause I listen, I'm like, I know I could do hair when it comes to like, I'm like, I don't want to be a lawyer for the rest of my life. I got, I got a time limit on this legal thing. Like, there's some things I
I
want to
love it.
explore. I'm like, can I incorporate cannabis and doula in? I don't know, Chad. I'm just trying to
So
figure some things.
listen, I love anything cannabis and wellness because I
Yeah.
obviously we know that and doulas were such a big part of our wellness space
Mm,
because we are talking about Black maternal health. We're talking about why Black women are not safe anywhere they go in the criminal justice system, in the
come on.
healthcare system, at home, in the street. Like we are unprotected everywhere we go. And so we have to be our own support system and protection
Yeah.
network of protection. And so we have a gang of doulas, midwives, natural birth coaches, both and Western medicine professionals,
Mm,
RNs, nurses, doctors, folk who all respect and understand this side of the game, who are like, listen, we're going to come together and we're going to unite and we're going to figure out how to support Black women at the core because
yes.
we understand this is where the defect is, right? And so yes, we are exploring all types of natural therapies and supports and resources. And that is definitely a conversation that we've explored. And I love the idea that you are exploring here because that is also a space. Our crowns are also a space that cannabis is a part of, right? Because we have hemp infused hair products, we have CBD infused aromatherapies, right? And so I think, and we all, and just a little tidbit, ladies, CBD is good is for your hair. It does work as it acts as a keratin for your hair in many cases.
Oh,
So it
all
is a good protectant if you can find the right oil and conduit for it.
right.
It can be a very good protectant for your hair.
Excellent.
Um, but yes, it does everything. You can do anything with it, right? And because of that, which is what's so cool about it, is that you can find very organic ways to align with this and incorporate it into things you already do, right? And so, yeah, I'm excited to get out there and connect with Black and brown women from all over the country and help them realize and actualize their opportunities in the cannabis industry.
I love this. And I love that you're taking it on the road. I mean, I love Philadelphia. That was almost where me and my husband was dead set on being in either Philly or DC. New York City won out because Chad gave me that scholarship. And I was like, money,
Okay,
paying for law
money
school.
talks.
It does. It does. But I love Philadelphia. Temple was where I'd planned on going. I mean, I have a lot of appreciation for the city, but I really am glad that you're taking this show on the road because there is such a need. And I'm telling y'all, 3 years after starting this segment, I'm kicking myself for not having been a little bit more serious about what I was going to do in this space. But y'all know I got 50, 11 things happening. So there's only so many things that I can give my attention to. But Sheena, I really appreciate the work that you're doing. Again, to me, you all are the pioneers and the people who are not just going out and scouting out the territory of the promised land, but you coming back and making sure that we are all aware of it as well. For folks who want to get in touch with you, who want to follow up with you, who want to be, the first in line once those tour dates drop, where should they connect with you? What's your social? What's your website? Let's get all that information on the air.
Absolutely. So you can definitely always find us at www.cannabisnoir.com. That's CANNABISNOIRE.com. You can also find us on Instagram at cannabis_noir, NOIRE. And we're also, our higher conference page is official higher _women of color. And yeah, we have dates going live. We have a bunch of different events that we'll be hosting as well throughout the city that you can find on our website and our Instagram pages. And we also have a Facebook group, Cannabis Noir, that you can definitely join to keep up with all of the updates and cool tips, news, the fun stuff, the bad stuff, the scary stuff, all the things to make sure that you're kept in the know as it relates to cannabis.
Really appreciate you. I know we tried to get you on earlier, but we had a conversation that took over. So thank you for your flexibility. We're
Thank
looking forward to
you.
continuing the discussion. Good luck.
Absolutely. I
We
can't
need
wait
you
to
to
talk to
win.
you guys again and hopefully
Yes.
coordinate what our New York stop looks like so
Oh,
that we can
yes.
make sure you are a part of it for sure.
Please let Jonah know because if we could even have a live show with you in the studio, we could have some of the folks who are going to be traveling with you. I'm already envisioning greatness, sis.